Okie dokie. This disc I'm going to repaper because I got new paper that is going to work better. You can see this one I did not get adhered down very well, so that's my bad. Step one with repapering one of these discs is you peel off the old paper. This stuff is Duragold sandpaper and it's not the best, because once it starts to come off, it typically starts to disintegrate a bit. So I do not recommend Duragold all that much. It's not very flexible. The paper backer, as I said, crumbly. I can use, if I wanted, I could use a heat gun to kind of warm it up, and that can make it a little bit easier. But then if you do that, you risk deforming your acrylic. So I do not recommend that. Anyways, be back in just a few minutes. Okay, here's the thing. You can use a heat gun to soften the adhesive, particularly if you're using Super 77, which you should be. And if you do that, you just need to be careful not to heat it too much, because you don't want the acrylic backer to get hot and distort. Now, it's pretty thick, so you should have a margin of error, but if you don't want to peel it off like this, which takes time and is kind of frustrating, use gentle heat. Turn your heat guns down, use a hair dryer. Don't come at me if you distort your acrylic, because I warned you, okay? I'm warning you now. Don't overheat it. If you do, that's your fault. Okay? Okay. All right. So, yeah, Duragold sucks. Now, next step. So now what you see is we've got all this residue from the adhesive, spray adhesive we used, and the fact that we used Duragold paper, which we don't want to ever use again for the rest of our lives. But what we're going to do now is we're going to clean the disc. And for cleaning the disc, you just get a paper towel and put some mineral spirits on it. Do not use acetone, though that will break down the adhesive faster. It will also break down the rubber. So we clean our disc with
mineral spirits.
It'll just take a minute. Apply some pretty good pressure. You could soak this in
Mineral spirits.
and it would probably come off without the scrubbing that I'm doing right now. I'm going to show you what we're doing now for sandpaper, which is going to work better. And I'm going to also suggest a couple options to play around with that I'm playing around with now. So, yep, we're going to show you how this works. All right. That's good enough. So, as you can see, that is now done. It is clean. And this is just proof of why Duragold sandpapers, paperback PSA sandpaper is not ideal. So what we're actually working with now is a film back PSA. And we will get to that in just a second, but first we need to retrue our wheel. All right, at this stage, the disc is clean. And what we're going to do is we're just going to touch it up with sandpaper to make sure it is true. Because over time, rubber will deform a little bit, like a tiny bit, with climate conditions. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this block with a nice little bit of curve. You can use a bit more curve depending on your disc. with a bit of 60 grit glued to it. And I'm just going to use that to make sure that it's running true again.
Then 220 for cleanup.
All right, now we are ready. We are ready to use our new piece of sandpaper. So let's go meet him. All right, so this is our new piece of sandpaper, fresh off the laser cutter. You can hand cut it too, it's fine, but this is faster. In this case, I'm using Mirka Gold, which is pretty nice. There's one other paper I want to try in DASA Plus, which I've used for other applications, but this has a better pressure sensitive adhesive back. So we're going to test out just pressing it on here and then kind of get it even. Yep, there we go. And then we'll do that. So you can see there's some slight burn marks from the laser. We're still sorting out some of those details of the process. But now for the fins, what I'm going to do, make sure we're all level. And then we're going to put a little bit of spray adhesive on the back fins right here. Let that dry for a sec and then fold them over. So for spray adhesive, we use Super 77. We use a nice big shop trash can. Whoop. And then all I'm going to do is get a decent amount around those edges on those fins. Now, here's the secret with Super 77. You got to let it tack up. If I were to just fold these down right now, they're going to pop back up immediately. Instead, you got to let that sit for about 5 minutes. You can also blow on it to kind of speed up the curing process, but yep, about 5 minutes, and then you fold these down. All right, we gave it a few minutes, and now we are going to begin folding down those fins. So, occasionally, as you work with this, you may find that a couple fins lift back up. All you do is apply a little bit more Super 77, let it cure for a couple minutes, fold them back down. But this should hold very well for some awesome hands shaping action, I guess we could say. So, yep, that's how we repaper a disc.